Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. I am Cage, and guess who's
Cage.
here?
I'm back
It's Chair.
again.
He's back.
Chair. My 13th millionth hiatus or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Last week,
ex-
or like last time I podcasted, I told the
mm.
people that you were done with podcasting.
Yeah, I
You
was a
know.
little stressed out, going through a lot of stuff. Felt a little overwhelmed by a lot of things going on in my life. Just make sure to take care of yourselves, guys. Don't forget that.
Yes.
That's an important beat. Don't take on too many responsibilities and just tell people when you need a break instead of just trying to, engage in your depression and just cut off all ties with everybody you've ever met. As an act of social suicide. So yeah, don't do that. That's cringe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's not that. You just got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself.
yeah, and it's just I've been, as known in this podcast, I've been working proximate to animal rescue now for about a year and a half. I've been volunteering. It's getting real bad, man. At a lot of spots, at a lot of municipal shelters across the country. It's getting real bad. So that's if you work in those fields, make sure you take care of yourself. I went to the shelter I know is some of the hardest working people I've ever met. At Antioch Animal Services, they work harder than, again, anyone I've ever known. They deal with things that would make people curl up in a ball and cry, myself included. I have, not gonna lie to you, viewers everywhere, I have cried a few times now because of things going down at the shelter, but you just got to keep pushing forward and just remember to adopt when you can. It's important. It
Yeah.
really does save a life right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the people want to know, are you back for good? Is this an occasional back? Are you gonna
No, I'm back. I'm back for good. I'm
okay.
back to definitely for today to dunk on whatever happened in the last episode of the Rings of Power. I'm sure we'll get into that. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a very good friend. I didn't listen to the episode because I was dealing with a lot of shit. And on top of dealing with a bunch of emotional shit, I also had a root canal. And now I got to get fitted for a crown. So that's been going on too. And it's just a lot of stuff going on. And we have at the office, we're getting a brand new team, fantastic team down at the office, is adding to our ranks. So, it's good for them to just, um, yeah, been helping them out, and that's always fun. Just getting a whole new team onboarded. So
Yeah.
got that all started.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, I accidentally hit the stream button as well as the record button,
Oh,
but I turned it off because, sorry guys, my computer and my internet are not built for streaming. So,
yep,
you know, the video will be
yep.
on YouTube. Don't worry.
But mine are, and man, if I don't get this call back from this next job, because speaking of you being going through job rejections, like I remember it was you were applying for part time at a Target.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like rejected like 5 or 6 times now, so that's pretty disheartening. I
Yeah.
guess real estate doesn't have a lot of crossovers. A lot of people have told me that. So it's just yeah, it's the customer service. Well, real estate had to do a lot to do with customer service. No, it was a sales position. Goodbye. So yeah, I've heard that a couple
Jesus.
times now, and it's
Well,
just
even
yeah.
then, like it's bro, it's minimum wage. Like you don't need experience to fucking work at Target. I'm sorry, you don't.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Honestly, at some points, I feel like I should have two resumes, like a winner resume and a loser resume. Where I just have
yeah,
a resume where I just flat out lie, like, yeah, I just been working a bunch of corporate jobs my entire low ladder corporate like service jobs at storefront jobs, or something like that. I don't fucking know. But I
yeah.
did make a Hail Mary with a company called Joybound. They out of Walnut Creek, Joybound Pets and People.
Hmm.
They are a nonprofit shelter. So that means that they, don't have to do a lot of things that municipal shelters have to deal with, mainly mass euthanasia, which is no fun. So you
Yeah.
don't got to worry about that because you're all full up in your sworn positions, and yeah, a bunch of it's crazy. We don't want to talk about it because there may be people I know listening to this podcast, and all I know is those people work hard and sorry that they're in the position that they're in. With that being said, though, so I'm going to try as an adoption specialist, trying to get dogs matched and also helping out with just the general day to day at the shelter. So,
Yeah. That'll be good.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully they'll get a call back. If not, I think I may start streaming soon because I need to find some kind of side gig or something. And I'm the only thing I'm really good at, I think, is just acting like a fucking clown and gaming. So, maybe I
Well,
can maybe I've had a couple friends tell me that I'd actually be a pretty good streamer. So, maybe I'll actually give it a real try for once. Like and I have my best friend ever is like a wizard at doing UI web UI stuff, so she can
Hmm.
set me up with like a good Twitch UI. So I didn't realize that until I saw her leading a class on it once, and I was like, oh hey, I didn't know you were this good at this. Like, yeah, I totally do it for you for free. You're like one of my closest friends. I'm like, oh
Oh,
great.
nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, maybe. And honestly, I don't even know what I do because like if you watch the top streamers, right, all they have is their webcam in the game because like the fucking follow thing is getting spammed all the time. But I guess when you're starting out, but all I would really want is like just a link of whatever music I'm listening to because I'd probably link it to my Bandcamp and just listen to a bunch of songs that probably wouldn't get DCMA or whatever the fuck it is,
DMCA'd.
you know, DMCA. Yeah,
Yeah.
just listen to
I
a
mean,
bunch of meta,
you only get DMCA'd if you're like using it for if you're like making YouTube videos or whatever,
Isn't it?
or
I heard Twitch though, like that's why they have streamer mode, right?
th-
Because some music is licensed and shit like that, and you can get like
they
takedown.
they will for some things, but most of the
Mm,
time they won't. So like
okay.
what they'll do
I
is
heard it's like automatic
they'll
takedowns. Like if it's
there
like I heard like
are,
it.
but not as
Yeah.
much for music. So like
Okay.
if you're recording, like the VOD will usually be muted for like
Mm,
those songs that get
yeah.
identified. But while you're live, the only times they live ban is like if you're watching something like extremely high profile, like the
Mm,
Olympics or some shit.
yeah.
Like the
Streaming like that one guy that was pretending to play UFC while streaming a fight.
Yeah, like they'll live DMCA for that kind of stuff that's automated. But
Yeah.
well, I don't think any live DMCA's are automated. I think they're all manual.
No.
But I don't know how that works
I
exactly. But you know, hey, there are plenty of streamers who just listen to like very popular music all the time and never get DMCA'd for it.
mm,
Like their VODs will get muted and that's it.
yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, um, I got DMCA'd on Instagram
Wow.
because I was
Crazy.
doing a drum cover and
Yeah.
Sony claimed my automatically claimed my video, and I'm like, well, that's stupid because I'm not even making money on this, and also it's a drum cover, so
That's crazy.
that's
Yeah, all I
that's
wanted,
fair
and it's
use.
too like, I just have this Instagram account that I'm sitting on that has like 700 followers, and it's weird because all the followers are like bands and shit like that.
Hmm.
So I feel like I could like work that to my advantage, and like tag the band if I'm streaming like their song when I'm gaming or something like that, and then I get
Yeah,
four pothead doom metal guys to follow my Twitch page. So
absolutely.
you know, yeah, I just got to take advantage when I can, and some other like I said, some people have said I'm pretty funny when I want to be. So there is that. I guess that's an important part. Acting like a clown is important. Being able to play the fool and also being good at video games. I always get annoyed when I watch people who suck at video games. When I play Helldivers too, I consistently get like a lot of kills. And I don't think I think I'm too old to start being going pro in Dota 2. The more I think about it, but maybe I could just stream like some co-op games and maybe some like light competitive games like Mech Warrior Online that not a lot of people play.
Yeah.
But I'm only gonna do that if I don't get the call back from Joybound in a week. Then I'll start thinking about all that shit. Right now, I'm just if I gotta work at Joybound, work at Joybound. They said they were starting at $26 an hour, so that
Ooh,
sounds like a good. Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, that's not
and
bad.
hopefully I can turn it into a career in animal rescue. That'd be a nice thing to do. Where I don't feel like I'm grinding my soul up endlessly. So that'd be
Yeah,
good. I'm sure there'll be a lot of heartbreak.
It's not like working a second job part time over the summer and making a whole $16 an hour.
Yeah. I'm trying to get dogs matched with people and get them forever homes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the Rings of Power episode,
Power last final
season two
episode.
finale. Yeah, we got to get your thoughts on
It's
that.
almost like a black
Um,
spot in my brain because I'm trying to block shit out because it was just weird how bad the quality dropped off a freaking cliff, dude.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. But
let's
there's
see.
also some trending things, right? We gotta,
Oh, yeah, some
yeah, we got.
news.
Well, there's the Joker too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the Fort de Low.
yeah. Filet adieu.
Yep.
Neither of us have seen it, but we have seen the reactions to it. Okay, everybody's seen the
Yeah.
reactions to it, and I,
And all like everybody who sees it, like even people I know who are like like pretty neutral people, like they don't try to hate something like
yeah.
actively. They're like, yeah, that's pretty bad.
No,
Like
it's
apparently
universally panned. Yeah,
yeah, apparently like it's just the movie just doesn't make any sense, which is something I can tie into like later we can talk about. But I recently watched the Borderlands movie for the first time with my good friend Rio,
oh,
who's commented in this chat before, and I think it's like a textbook example of what a bad movie really is. And if the fertile now that I can like watch and like think about, okay, now I know what a real bad movie is. Like I can put like if the plot like I realized halfway through the Borderlands movie, like the plot doesn't make any sense and nothing's really happening because of the plot. Things are just happening on screen just so that they
Yeah,
can
things just
happen.
happen to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good movie because you want to be driven by the plot, right? Or else you get bored and confused. And I wonder if that's what's happened when you try and make a DC villain who's known for like breaking kneecaps and like sexually harassing women and like doing horrific things to people into a musical. You kind of lose track of the plot almost.
Well, I mean, from
So
the beginning, this movie seemed a little doomed to me,
mm,
because even
I'm
the
not sure if we ever talked about it in the past. I'm sure I would have said the classic thing. Well, let's just wait and see.
yeah,
When they announced it was a musical,
so
but
yeah, when they announced it was a musical, I felt similar, but then how they so I saw somebody was like, "Oh, they've been telling us for years it's going to be a musical and blah blah blah." And now people are surprised that it's a musical, which
mm,
is just false because when they announced it, they said it was going to be a musical, and then they promoted it as a musical, and then like a year and a half ago, the director came out and said, "No, it's not really a musical. Like there will be some songs in it, but it's not actually a musical. Like that part is being overplayed. It's not going to actually be a musical."
mhm.
And then it came out and it's a full on musical. And so yeah, they did try to
As far
backtrack a
as we're
little bit on
aware,
it.
just to reemphasize that, as far as you and I are aware, it's a full-on musical
There are
because you and I have
26
never seen it.
songs performed in the movie. It's a
Okay,
musical.
yeah, it definitely seems like a musical. I would say probably more than if it's like more than like 50% of the time this movie's runtime is like dedicated to music numbers, and it's probably a musical. Like
It's
yeah.
also almost a 3 hour long movie. And the thing is, right?
Mm,
If you haven't seen it, maybe you should skip what I'm about to say because it's kind of a spoiler, but not really a spoiler. But yeah, just skip ahead like 30 seconds to a minute if you don't want to be spoiled because you actually want to see the movie for some reason. But when the first one came out, I kept saying to many people who told me I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about, that it's not a movie about the Joker in the comic book sense. And they're using the name of the character and leveraging the brand of DC to sell movie tickets. And
yeah,
people told me, "No, you're wrong. Like that's the beauty of the Joker is like nobody knows his origin. He could be anybody. Anybody could be the Joker." And yes,
it takes
I
one bad day. Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
takes
get
one
that.
bad
I get
day.
the concept. I know it's a very repeated phrase, and I don't disagree. It was the joke. The first Joker movie was a very good movie. To
Yes, it
me,
was.
it had nothing to do with the comic book character, the Joker. I know the
Yeah,
idea. I get the idea. And skip ahead. And if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm still going to talk about something. In this movie, it's confirmed that he was never the Joker.
mm,
Like it's just straight up confirmed like he was not the Joker that we as the audience and in society in Gotham put that mantle on him. He never claimed to be which is a lie. He did in the first
yeah.
movie. He took the name Joker, but he, that's the and that's my point. He was never the Joker, and now people are mad that he was never the Joker when they should have known that. But that's not why the movie fails. I'm sure I haven't
Mm.
seen it again. I'm not. I can't even really judge it, but um, I don't know. I think people did have expectations, and they even told us that at some point, oh, it's not really a musical, which it clearly is a musical. So like they didn't do themselves any favors, but also it's just probably I don't know. I think they wanted to do something different. The only reason that they made this movie is because the first one made $1 billion. I'm convinced of that. And
Yeah,
listen,
I think they, knowing Memento worried them. If you don't know what that means, there like used to be some slave that would whisper. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but apparently some slave used to whisper into the emperor's ear after he'd come back from a successful campaign, "Remember that you will die," which is like basically like saying humble yourself, and that happens quite a bit where like, oh wow, I made this amazing movie. Now I'm gonna make a sequel that's like 200 times
well,
better.
I don't
In some
even know
cases,
if they wanted to make a second. Like if Todd Phillips and all of them, I don't know if the director and the people working on the movie wanted to make a second one. But once it made $1 billion, Warner Brothers wanted them to make a second one,
exactly,
right? And so of course they
and
obliged.
Warner
And then
Brothers is the worst.
yeah,
We can't we go over that multiple times here, but
and then
goddamn,
all
dude.
this news came out like the plot was actually came from a dream that Joaquin Phoenix had and all this stuff and it's like the first movie was successful because DC didn't really meddle with it because they didn't
Mm,
care about it. I think at that time because it wasn't taking place in the DCU and like it was like whatever. This guy who did the Hangover movies is just making a Joker movie, whatever. And then it made $1 billion, and that got their attention. And so I think they probably had
mm,
more influence on this movie, which is why another reason why it's probably not as good. And also, the first one is pretty hard to follow up anyway.
yeah.
So
The first one was its own great little self-contained story, you're right? There was no
there's no need for a sequel.
there was no need for a sequel, but again, good movie comes out, all right, make another good movie. In some cases you get the Joker, and then you get the Joker photo law or whatever the fuck it is, and other times you get, Aliens, which is the best sequel, like one of the best sequels ever, aside from The Empire Strikes Back. Watched Aliens like 3 times this October, so I have friends I like watching horror movies with, and man, Aliens is such a good fucking movie, dude. Holy shit. It's not even a horror movie. I didn't realize that until like my second watch. It's definitely just an action movie with horror elements. I didn't even think about that. It's so fucking good. You watch Aliens, Cage?
No, never seen it.
What? Damn, we should watch it together sometime.
Okay.
The first one's a little artistic and weird, but I think you would like the second one a lot because again, it's just an action movie with horror elements. It's not really a straight up horror movie like the first movie is. So
Yeah.
you would like Aliens a lot.
I'm sure I would. I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
There's been some news. Apparently, Tom Holland and Zendaya have read the Spider-Man 4 script, and he said it lit a fire in him. So there's good news if you are looking forward to Spider-Man.
Yep.
And don't care about any of that. Some people from the Acolyte still saying people are racist, and whatever. So anyway, that's it. Rings of Power. Okay. Rings of Power
Let's
season
see.
2 finale.
Yep. How does it open?
It opened with
Let's
the
see.
dwarves.
The dwarves. That's right. I'm blotting it from my mind.
I
And
never let you raise your hand. You were just getting stronger. You remember?
yeah, no, I remember is him jumping to fight that Spoiler, by the way. All I remember is him jumping to fight that Balrog with his axe and the stupid ring, and like
And
it's
he
the
gave up
dumbest
the
thing I've
ring.
ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my entire life
Really?
because like us wanting to see the Balrog has been like the thing been wanting to see for a very long time, and it just opens up with a dumb reference to Gandalf being dragged by the foot, and then we get like 10
Does
seconds
it?
of Balrog, and then yeah, he gets pulled by the foot. Remember, he gets dragged off by the Balrog. The whip goes around his foot and it drags him a few
Oh.
feet, and he turns around to fight the Balrog for no fucking reason, and like clashes with his axe, and like we don't see any more Balrog ever, and Durin's just really sad that his dad, his dad's dead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we get a bunch of stuff with who the Barbie Barbie Power Ranger princess
Bro, here's the thing I really wanted you to tell me if I'm crazy on.
okay,
Didn't most of these motherfuckers die last episode?
almost year
Arondir
2.
died. That mother sucker
Yeah,
got stabbed through the chest.
yeah.
The dude at the end in Imladris in Rivendell, whatever in the valley,
Can I
the guy
So
who
there's there. I only watched this episode once, and it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm probably not gonna remember most of it. I don't want to remember most of it. And to be honest with you, I was sitting in bed last night, like I was thinking, like I really should watch this for tonight's podcast. I'm not gonna watch this for tonight's
no,
podcast, and I
yeah.
went instead and I played Marvel's Diver 2 because damn, dude, it was just I don't know how to explain this to you, but it felt like that they switched to shittier cameras. Did you notice that? Like it just seemed like the camera work was like worse. Like it felt like they were lower quality cameras. Everything about this episode was just bad. For our viewers,
Well,
you're not going to get consistent plot breakdown. You're not going to get anything wholesome or genuine about this. Like this next episode, like it just seems like they blew their whole wad on that cool battle sequence, and you and I thought genuinely had some cool pieces. Like right, like
yeah.
fighting
Episode
fighting
7
the
was
Obi
probably one of the best episodes of the Rings of Power has done,
Tower.
and then it just dropped
Yeah,
this turd on us.
yeah, exactly, dude. And then it just pulled a complete 180, and then like it had this dissatisfying end to the dwarf plot line, which is wrapped up with this really dumb still of one of like the characters who is built not through action or through like being actiony, like the elves are being set up, but by being a wise old dwarf king, slowly being corrupted by the ring, not being corrupted in the way you would think by Sauron, but being corrupted by his own fucking greed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both thought that this actor was portraying this in a very well done way because he was basically like going fucking crazy, and it was really done. Like his greed, like was becoming insidious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I remember when he looked Durin in the eye and said, "The whole world's gone mad, son. If we're gonna profit off it," I can't remember what else he said, but I remember that whole like that exchange being fucking fantastic, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
showing how like sliding down this cliff of greed, right? and and then we get this action shot of him like jumping mid-air to like collide with the Balrog, and it's just dumb. Like that whole everything about that was dumb. The cave bats were dumb. That everything about that was dumb. Like, oh, your father is too powerful and we can't fucking overwhelm him, and he's digging, and then he's like, and then they show off the mithril, and then the Balrog just shows up. Like
Uh-huh.
it doesn't like activate. Like it doesn't like awaken all of a sudden, which is what I thought we were
It
gonna
was
get.
awakened last season.
Barely, dude. Like, I think we should have just gotten a sequence of it, like, just standing, like, slowly, just like, I don't, literally, that episode should have been 30 minutes of Balrog, right? That would have been 10 times better, right? That's like Durin's bane. Like, the fucking whole city collapsed on itself, right? People were dying left and right. It was supposed to be this horrible Leviathan catastrophe. And fucking, we didn't get shit.
Yet.
Yes. Okay. I don't care yet. Like we should have gotten way more, way more
Maybe.
than what we saw. And maybe if the next season opens up with the Balrog tearing to the city, maybe that'll be kind of okay. I just think that it should have been. I don't know. And then the
May-
rest of the episode, the only thing I liked is watching Sauron shoot a bunch of fucking arrows into Celebrimbor because he's an evil character and that's what evil characters do,
yeah,
right? Like
and again the performances are like just top
those
tier
guys.
there. Yeah.
When those guys are on screen together, it's like a fucking play. It's like a screenplay, right? It's fucking phenomenal. Like the whole sequence of him, like with the candles, like the candles not burning, him slowly realizing this is just a fucking illusion. What the fuck? Like just those two were fantastic. The whole thing, and then
But this is another
it's
example of things are just happening to happen.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. And then Galadriel just starts going around doing things. Like this whole last episode, this is the problem. Galadriel is the weak. It was Rings of Power was set up for Galadriel to be the strongest character. She's actually like the weakest of the bunch. I feel like bad for throwing her actor under a bus, but it just seems like she's getting some
yeah,
really bad acting director. Like she isn't a good actor.
her
Like
facial expressions are annoying. Like,
her voice is too soft. It
she's
doesn't sound
mousy.
ancient and wizened, and she's just a Barbie. And then she's written like a Barbie Power Ranger, and it just sucks. Like she just solves all of her problems herself all the time, except for when frickin' Elrond is kissing her to give her like a ring, her ring or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, except when
And
she
I'm
jumps
yelling
off a
now.
fucking cliff and
Yeah,
just
I'm yelling
is
now.
fine.
The reason I'm yelling, dear listeners, all 300 million of you, is because this episode was really bad, and I feel like it was so bad that they like switched to different cameras that were of lower quality. Like it just
Like,
seems like that. It seems
none of
like
it
they were
made
on
sense. None of it
they
made
were on like
sense.
sets. Like the sets looked worse. Like it just seems like they were on these static sets where you could see like it's like how you see those behind the scenes, right? Where they got like some practical effects and the rest is green screen, right?
Hmm.
And then everybody's just standing around talking, right? That's what it felt like. It felt going between different shots, everyone standing around on these sets with green screen in the background talking to each other. That's like this whole episode, and I don't fucking know, man. Like I know Celebrimbor had some dumb little speech towards the end, and then he fucking died.
Hmm.
I know so did Elrond, like talking about like his being filled with light or whatever the fuck, or holding out hope.
No, I
You
think
know,
that was Galadriel.
why was there this dumb fishing village? Like, what was the point of that? Where
Uh,
did that even come from?
oh,
What was the
what do you
reason
mean?
for any of that?
Like talking about
This
Pelargir?
random. We're turning this into like we're turning this into a military outpost. You dumb fucking outriders! Like, what the fuck was that? Where did that come from? What was the? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, it's because the Numenor thing is stupid.
Yeah,
Like
everything
all of
about
it.
Numenor
The
doesn't make any sense. None of it makes
like
like an eagle flew in. It's
the
I
greatest
cannot.
society of men ever, the greatest men to ever walk Middle Earth are just NPCs.
They're just NPCs. Like eagles swoop down and they start cawing, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, this guy is the king." The eagles don't talk, man. They should be talking. Rio was screaming about that too. You're right,
That's
that too.
true.
They should be talking. The eagles should be saying things like, "Oh, man of Numenor, we can see that your souls are great, and that is why we, the eagles, have come down to like bless you with our presence." Like, because they are all a bunch of fucking
They
badasses, and they
they
only want to associate with other badasses.
they
And it's
preempted the eagle's arrival by saying, "Oh, the eagles only come to these special coronations." While they're coronating Queen Muriel, the eagle shows
mm,
up, and so he must be there for Muriel. Or is he here for this random guy? Let's say his name Farzan. Oh, he squawked. He must be here for the random guy, this random dude
yeah,
right here. And all the people are just
yeah,
like, "Yeah, he must be king because the eagle showed up to someone else's coronation."
yeah,
Bro, they
dude.
just they just let mythic creatures decide who's king and queen of their society.
Yes, They did it twice.
Yeah,
They also just
exactly.
they also let mythic sea creatures decide who is or isn't guilty.
Like
Like it's just it's
the
all
the
really
greatest society of men to ever
no,
to ever exist.
nothing
Ooh,
matters. Like you're right, nothing matters. Things are just happening and happening. Like in the Borderlands movie, right? Towards the end of the movie, the bad guy who is the quote unquote bad guy. It doesn't matter. He's just the dude that people talk about in the background when they're going around doing things, right? He didn't actually direct the plot or anything like that. So that's why he wasn't the bad guy. So that's why I didn't care if he fucking died in the end, right?
the antagonists were the writers.
Exactly. In that movie, the Borderlands movie was bad because no one told them that Borderlands was rated M. Like that's the whole problem with that movie is that it was like PG-13. Like there was
Mm,
no gore. Like when you shoot people with elemental guns in the first Borderlands game, right? Their heads they go and then their heads turn to skulls and then the
uh,
skulls explode,
like
right?
when the Ark of the Covenant is opened in Indiana Jones.
Yes, exactly. Visceral violence, right? In a Borderlands movie, the game about like gun corporations literally taking over the universe because in installing weapons to everyone all the time, right? And like waging corporate wars with each other. You think there would be a lot of unhinged violence? It was really felt like this movie was written by for kids, dude. Like that's all I can describe it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the greatest society of men on Middle Earth being a bunch of fucking clowns. Okay,
Who take
it's
their
just
law from ancient creatures who live in the skies and seas.
they are supposed to communicate with them, but I don't communicate in the show, so you
Yeah,
just assume that they're all
yeah.
dum dums. Like, imagine if that fucking tentacle creature like rolled up to that lady and like started communicating with her, like all long have I been on the
Yeah.
seven seas or whatever, and I know the blood forever. I know the blood of the ancient royals. Like, what has happened? Why have they cast you here or some shit? And like
Yeah.
she just talked and then he says something like, courageous, like, don't forget 700 years ago, your fucking ancestor took up Holobuldel, the sword of the ancients, and fucking struck down Global Fiend, the fucking biggest batted bitch in the fucking bog or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Okay, fucking Tolkien lore, some stupid shit. I don't fucking know. Okay,
Also just Muriel giving Elendil his sword. Thank you.
yeah, dude.
Thank
Here's
you.
here's the most important sword in lore, by the way. Like, just
Yeah.
here,
Here you
Rio
go.
was so fucking mad about that. She was just like, "What?" Like she literally towards the end of my friend Rio, who is like one of my closest friends, known them for 10 years. She is a huge Tolkien buff, right? You guys have gotten deep into the weeds while I've been sitting here browsing my phone on Instagram while you guys just talk about it, right? Like you both love Gilgalad and think that he's portrayed very poorly in the show because he's like supposed to be like one of the most lawful good people like in Tolkien lore, right? He's just
Hmm.
like pure good. That's just who he is, right?
And
Or
he's
whatever.
badass. Which he
And
was in
he's a fucking
episode 7 with Aeglos.
yeah, he
He finally
was.
did some shit.
He had his fucking spear, and he was doing cool shit, and like he was fighting a troll, like and that felt very Tolkien-esque, like and then the hill trolls cut through the fields, and Gil-galad had to single him out in single combat, because he was casting his soldiers aside. Like that felt that whole battle felt very Tolkien-esque.
Hmm.
That man, take me back. Why can't we just have more? The only gripe was, well, the river drained too fast, but it's a show, so it's okay. They got to kind of speed these
Yeah,
things
yeah,
up,
yeah.
you know.
And
Exactly.
and to add to the complaints for the season finale, ooh, what the
Yeah,
fuck is Estrad doing?
yeah.
Like,
What are any of the characters really doing? Like, they're just like, okay, so Galadriel is trying to get the eight rings away from
the
fucking Sauron,
the
and then
nine, yeah.
the nine, and then they get cornered by some orcs, and they're
No,
like, "We're
no,
gonna."
no. She goes now all of a sudden she wants to team up with Adar all of a sudden, even though she was super against that.
That's
and
right.
and now he has her ring, so she just walks up to him and she's like, hey, we should totally take on Sauron together. Remember, like, you wanted to, like, 2 episodes ago, which made no sense. And then he's just like, look at me in my elf form now that I have been healed by your ring. You don't know my name. And never all the fans are like, oh, he must be Celeborn, which is stupid because she knows Celeborn. Oh, he must be this other guy, which is stupid, whatever. And also, Celeborn's elven name is Teleporno. Anyway, we don't actually know who he is or was or whatever. But anyway, then as predicted, his most loyal orc servant, the one with the baby and the wife, betrays him. And then, who should be there but Sauron with some orcs? And the plot just wants him to be there, guys. And
then doesn't she give up the 9 to like spare some elf maids or whatever the fuck? Like, isn't that what like basically happens?
Oh yeah,
like,
that's how she gets brought before Adar. Yeah, she gives him.
Yeah. She gives him the 9. And he's like, well, I'm gonna take these rings and use them against Sauron, and it's just all so contrived and dumb. And Elrond gives some dumb speech to the elves that are being all fucking the shit kicked out of them and stuff like that. And, it's just.
Yeah. Oh, and because the plot says so, orcs who are now overpowering everybody, don't kill the greatest elf lords there are. Don't kill them. Just bring them to Sauron. Oh, now there's dwarves for reinforcement so they can escape. Oh, well, the plot needed that to happen because they need to go find Imladris, guys. They need to.
So generally, like, we were trying to keep this episode short because I'm a little like I got a lot going on.
We forgot the worst part.
Oh, please enlighten me. Please tell me what I blotted out in my fucking brain.
The Grand Elf.
I forgot what happens. What?
Gandalf.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he got his staff, and Bombadil just shows back up to explain the plot to the viewers.
And Mary Mac calls him a grand elf, even though he's nothing like an elf. And that's
also
how he gets his name.
That guy definitely isn't Saruman, guys. It's definitely not. And
it's not. There's no way that's Saruman.
He just plots all over Gandalf and then leaves.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
It's really dumb.
It's really dumb.
Yeah.
Like, he just shows up. I forgot. Like, they're just there, like, talking to each other. None of the hobbits are actually at risk of anything, and they all just leave after he, like, the old, like, wizard, like,
he dropped a bunch of rocks on them. He killed a bunch of them with rocks.
Oh, that's right. And then Gandalf saved the day.
Yeah, but a lot of them still died because of rocks.
Oh well, now the hobbits got to repopulate, and that's how the hobbits got started, out of desperation.
Yes.
Sorry, I keep forgetting, like, there's still that little love triangle, but I've just all remember that Tom Bombadil shows up to explain, like, the plot and basically what just happened in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, and Gandalf saved his friends, got his name, and his staff. Wow.
Just, what else do you say or do to this shit? Like, what the fuck,
bro? And then and they're in Pelargir, great Middle Earth outpost of the Númenóreans, and fucking Estrid's like, I don't want to be with my betrothed. I love you, Isildur. And then they start making out, and then Isildur thinks he's gonna go home when Kremen, or whatever the fucking dumb fuck's name is, and he's like, these are lesser people. Fuck them all. Go get us fucking timber, bitch asses. Also, you're not bringing anyone back. You can go back yourself because your dad's a traitorous bastard.
Yep.
I'm like, Jesus, like, ugh. So dumb. So dumb. And his dad's coming back to Middle Earth anyway, and Anarian's still in Middle Earth, and they called his name out again, even though, like, he's still not getting any respect in anything. 2 full seasons and nothing, we still don't know who he is. His dumbass daughter's still there being dumb as fuck. Ugh.
Yep.
So, yeah, episode 8 was just disappointing. So, last thing. I have a small prediction that there may or may not be a time jump into season 3.
Oh.
I think they really want to build for, like, this Last Alliance thing. And
Yeah.
so I think it's entirely possible they like time jump like 100
Yeah,
years.
you think they want a handshake off like fucking with right with the movies? That's what I think too. That's smart, I guess.
Well, they'll either
Well,
end.
you know, they want to handshake it off with the movies, so it's like they make it. You know, what's the Lord of the Rings viewing party, right? Oh, you watch all the fucking Lord of the Rings, like the extended editions back to back, right? I think that like Rings of Power are trying to like piggyback off that like idea, like oh, you watch Rings of Power for prequels to fucking the Lord of the Rings.
No, that's what the Hobbit
It's
movies are for, but nobody wants to sit through 10 hours of that. So
nobody exactly. So people may want to maybe the Rings of Power are a less dirty pill to swallow.
no,
Oh well,
disagree, because you'd
especially
have
after
to
this
probably do
episode.
4 seasons to make that happen. Because I think season 3 would have to end with the destruction of Numenor.
Mm,
Um, and then you'd have to do the end of season 4 would be the last alliance. But that battle takes like 20 something years or some shit. Like,
mm,
and like there's a lot of stuff that has to happen between now and then.
yeah,
Like lore wise, it's like 1,500 years, which they can compress. But
mm.
and also Galadriel needs to just stop being fucking annoying and the worst.
Yeah, she needs to stop being like she's not really a character, right? She's just like a walking plot device that solves all the problems around her. Or it's just
I feel like all she does
I'm
is
sure there
cause problems.
I'm sure there's someone disagreeing, listen, right? Maybe who's listening who could like disagrees, like maybe they think the character's more motivational. Like I just don't see it though, and Rio doesn't see it either. Like Rio was just posting vomit gifs towards the end of like the last episode, so. And she doesn't like Galadriel either. Like she thinks Galadriel, like I call her Barbie Power Ranger because that's what I feel like she is. Rio doesn't say that. She just says she's the worst. So, you know, but I'm just calling the character like I see it.
I mean, the reality is like you could almost do this whole season without Galadriel.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
other than the ring bit, like where she's obsessed with the ring, but like she doesn't move that plot forward. Like the
Mm,
only people moving the plot forward on the Elven side are Celebrimbor and Anatar.
mm,
Like that's where the plot is. Nobody else is really doing anything. Like I don't know, just whatever.
yeah,
Adar
nothing's
moves
really
the plot
happening.
forward, but like in all the men plot, the stuff with the Isildur, almost all of that plot, like it just accomplished nothing.
Yeah,
Like didn't do anything. The Numenor plot again, they're just twiddling their thumbs. Oh, who's king? Who's not king? Who? What the fuck are we doing? Hey, nobody knows. Like
yeah,
another pointless plot. Valandil just died for nothing. Uh, Nobody cares about him apparently. Like
mm,
some and the Hobbit plot, and just like okay, cool. We did all this just so we could learn that it's Gandalf, which we knew at the end of last season.
mm.
Thanks. I don't really know. Like I thought the actor who played Tom Bombadil was good, but I don't really know what purpose that character even served here.
Mm.
So I mean, the
Yeah,
Dark
exactly.
Wizard again, like
To explain the plot. He was explaining to a plot that maybe would be too symbolic for people, like intentionally symbolic for people to pick up on. And so I'm here to explain the plot to you guys. Something about the journey and picking your friends, and it turns out that if you choose your friends, eventually you'll find yourself on the right journey anyway, or whatever the fuck.
yeah, like
Yeah.
your friends were your destiny the whole time.
Yep.
By doing good, good will become of you.
Yep.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Anyway, I'm
Anyway,
glad Rings of Power is over. Hopefully next week I'll be catching up on Agatha. I'll try to watch a few episodes between here and there. So hopefully, and you say it is still good in your
yeah,
eyes?
it's good. It's really good.
All right,
It's
all
really
right
good.
then. Well, so I'm gonna watch it and check it out, and hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yes,
Because like
yes.
you and I have said before, like it's hard to make us care about these things.
It's
So
it's everything the acolyte wasn't.
good, good.
It's engaging.
Mm,
It's funny. It's interesting.
mm,
Parts of the acolyte were interesting, but it just got all ruined by other shit they were doing. So
yeah.
buried deep within. So anyway, that's it. Thanks everyone. Thanks Chair for hanging out, for talking about the Rings of Power, even though you really don't want to think about it. Um, like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. See you next time. Bye.
Yep.